Okay, here we're going to cover principles of organizing a workbook, formatting your data, and creating a table. The first principle of organizing is think of your workbook as just that, a book. So you want to organize it in a logical way from left to right. So I always think you want your most general information on your left, and then the most specific information on the right-hand side, getting more specific as we go until we hit the values, which will be all your numbers that are on your spreadsheet, which you want on the rightmost side. The other thing I want you to think about is organizing your workbook in such a way that if someone were to open it up and not have you there to explain it to them, they'd be able to generally figure out what's going on. Now you can do that by clearly labeling your tabs. You can see here I have an XLOOKUP tab, so if they want to know where the XLOOKUP is coming from, they can reference that. We have a pivot table clearly labeled, and we have order data labeled here, and all of my columns are labeled as well. One thing to note is that if you are sharing this with a customer or sharing it to someone who might forward it to a customer, you want to make sure you remove any sensitive data, like if you have internal cost in there or uh, any number of things. You want to make sure you're cleaning that up, or potentially relabeling your column names so that they make sense to your audience. Now, as far as formatting goes, I like to always take my large data set and format it as a table. We'll go over this in the pivot table section, but this makes creating formulas and pivot tables a little bit quicker. Now, for formatting your numbers, you can do it quickly through this section right here in your top banner. So you have this drop down that has all your options, but then you also have these quick adjustments you can make. So here I want to update discount. I click the percentage sign and that updates it. Here I have a bunch of dates that are formatted in a funny way. They're formatted under the general format. If I come down and click short date, that's the one that we're used to. Moving over further, we have a bunch of costs. If I want to add in $, I can hold Control down and click all the cells that I want to update to an accounting view. And I can select this accounting number format, or I can click the drop down and come down to accounting. Now these all have $. Now for things like units or something that doesn't have a currency number in front of it, a currency sign rather, you have a couple options. My favorite one is to click this comma style, then move the decimal place over, and now you have a clean file. And then if there is a comma separating the thousandths spot or millionth spot, we can have that added in. You could also select general or number. Those are other ways to means to the same end. But I always figure having the comma in there makes it easier to read. And that is some principles on formatting, changing your numbers, and creating a table.